Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back, Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine, into this reading for the collective twin flame in this journey. Okay, and this reading is for Divine Masculine, specifically of all zodiac signs in the collective twin flame from January 8th, which is today, until January 18th of 2021. Okay. Now, before I proceed into the reading, guys, let me tell you, last year was a year where a lot of things where you found yourself, in places where you thought you had your things in order, um, kind of crumbled for a lot of people because um, not crumbled in the way that devastation has happened, but many people have lost their jobs, people have lost their homes, some have lost their lives. So, whatever had been very stable in their life last year had started to kind of shatter. Now, which brings us to 2021, which is the year of that change, okay, for everybody, not just for the divine masculine, it's also for the divine feminine and everybody. It's a change in many different ways for people. Okay. Change for the better, I would say, because a lot of things that, it's the way that the divine intervention had worked last year when people had taken things for granted. People had not really paid attention to what they needed to leave, what they needed to move out of, what they needed to do for themselves. So last year, with this divine intervention, a lot of people have woken up to the feeling of this change that is necessary, that will happen for everybody this year. Change, like I said, change in different shape and forms. Change in your work, in your career, with your health, with your place of, living, anything that, like relationships, a lot of things that people had earlier taken things for granted, or, like I said, had not really heeded the call when the divine intervention happened last year. It brought in a lot of sense of awakening in everybody's life, that whatever needs to go has to go. There is, that restricted feeling of letting things go was that divine intervention that happened last year. So, which is where 2021, as it rolls in, guys, will create a new life path for people in different ways. Okay, and you will observe that happening as the year passes by in your life. Okay, now with this thought in here, this rule applies to the divine masculine as well, where he had been in a place of his own understanding, with his own status quo, with his own restrictions in life, where he thought that everything that he had been used to, his comfort zone, his life in general, his attitude towards people, towards his community, his tribe that he had collected around him. Something happened last year, like I said, towards the end of last year, I would say, or from the middle towards the end, when he suddenly realized that what he had been doing for so long was not what he wanted to do in his life. Call it a spiritual transformation, call it a spiritual awakening, because it's always the divine intervention. Remember, guys, it's always the divine intervention that has to step in for people to move from point A to point B. Otherwise, it's human. It's only human. That we are very comfortable, we are taking things for granted. We know, it's knowing, knowing, feeling comfortable in our own knowing that we are in the comfort zone. Okay, we know things. We know what life looks like for me, for you, for everybody. Knowing, but that knowing part of the story has gone through a lot of change in the last year. Where this year, today, is bringing about that impact of that knowing and the change that is going to happen this year as the year rolls into action, guys. So, with the divine masculine, it's the same story. There are a lot of things in his life that he knew was not right. He knew he hadn't played it right with you, divine feminine. He knew everything subconsciously. Maybe consciously, he never explained that to you. He never surrendered himself to you. That is his part of the story where he was numbing things, he was hiding things, he was keeping it all under covers, not letting you know his real feelings about the entire story with you. But last year, because, like I said, last year, because of so many kind of divine interventions that gradually happened from the middle until the end, this change realization of his self to understand that what he had been doing for so long or what he thought was right for him for a very long time is not what he wants anymore, or he has never wanted that. He was just, um, what's a word? He was just kind of accustomed that, yes, that's what I was telling you. He was just kind of accustomed to the fact of his knowing, which is completely changing this year. And you will see that change that will happen as gradually we, like I said, as gradually we move into the year. Okay. Now, here is the reading for the few cards I've got in here, but we'll go along the way. We'll delve into it, guys. The first three section or the first three set of cards I've pulled up is the wisdom and the energy with the wisdom that is happening, okay? Because we want to understand the entire story as much as we can from this reading here. Now, the first card we get is card number 28, brings down to 10, which is building blocks, okay? Which is letting you know, divine masculine and divine feminine, that wherever this man had been, doing things, like I said, taking things for granted, um, kind of being very casual about his life in general, not really paying attention to a lot many details in his life, because somewhere he was very content. I wouldn't say contented, I would say, like I said, accustomed. There's a difference between being contented with what you have and being accustomed with what you are going to now get or have, right? So it's getting accustomed to a change in life because, see, he's building that slowly. His understanding, his higher wisdom, his higher self awareness, his higher consciousness is pushing him back to understand things when he now knows that whatever has happened to before in this journey with you should end. He has to rebuild everything from the scratch, and he knows that. Okay, whatever he had built earlier, or he thought he had built, like I said, he was accustomed to the fact of his own inner understanding of what he had built is crumbling or will crumble, and that cycle needs to be closed and will close even if he doesn't want it. So, what does he do now? His wisdom is telling him to restart the entire process from the scratch, to build it back again of whatever he had lost or he has lost with you in this journey. Okay, and with this, we get card number 25, breaks down to 7, or a deceit. And then we get card number 46, or the thinking man, which is the king of sword energy. So what it is, guys, is the deceit part of the story. There has been a lot of Lot of deceit, betrayal, misunderstanding, backstabbing, lies, cheating, anything, where it was either him doing this or he has watched people around him do this to him. It can go either ways. It can go either ways, right? So therefore, he has to rebuild everything from the scratch because he doesn't want this energy. This energy is there with him right now or is lurking here. It's because of his own understanding about his own higher consciousness, right? So with the deceit, you get 46, again 10, which is the thinking man, where he has been putting in a lot of strategic effort to go forward with his logic and rational because he wants, like I said, whatever he thought he had built was full of deceit. Is also a probability here with this card, which needs to crumble and he has to rework, re strategize, reorganize his own logic and rational to begin something fresh, is his wisdom. Because, like I said, that last year, the divine intervention has taught him to understand that this energy of his wisdom has to be revived, has to undergo a change. And that's why he, like I said, whatever he had built or he thought he had built, he suddenly realized that, oh my God, this place was nothing but full of deceit, full of betrayal. And I was sitting on that, in that place where people have deceived me, and I have in turn deceived somebody in my life because, that has been my learning lesson. I have to move out of that story. And that is the reason the King of Swords shows up. Now, this King of Swords energy could be his energy of becoming very alert and determined now to make things happen in a different way. Or it could be that he is taking the help of a professional to understand his finances, his budget, resources, money, the limitations of his resources and what he can do with it. It can be any energy here. It can be his energy that somebody is feeding him that particular story, or he by himself is paying attention and understanding his own mistake to reorganize his own logical thought in the right way, becoming very alert, becoming very determined, becoming very conscious of his logic and rational at the same point. Okay, now the next wisdom card, guys, is what we have here. Is card number 5, no peace like home. So this is a learning lesson. Okay, he wants peace. He wants to, it's like, I don't care what I have. I may have nothing with me, but I have my peace. I want my peace in myself, in my own body, in my own skin tone, with my own energy. I just want peace. I want to be at peace in my own self. Because learning lesson has taught him, like I said, this is the logic and rational of his own mistakes, of his own understanding that he might have had money, he might have had goodies on the table, but he did not have peace. There was no peace in him, in his environment. And that is the peace he wants now, which is clarified by card number 15, breaks down to 6 of appreciation, which is talking about becoming single, having a lot of gratitude towards himself, bringing back his independence to enjoy life, to bring back peace within himself, a balance of, being equal or bringing back equality in terms of gratitude, understanding, and peace in himself. Okay, so this is the learning lesson. Like I said, this card number five for me is a learning lesson of the earlier part of the story and the change that is happening to him this year or from now. Okay, where he has suddenly woken up to the fact of his understanding, guys, that no matter what he had, no matter what he did with his money, with his home, with his resources, yes, materialistically he might have got, but fundamentally, philosophically, spiritually, he could not buy peace, you know? So you might have everything in your life, but if you don't have peace, how would you enjoy that? Right? So that is the same kind of energy that he is getting into the flow of. When it's like epiphany, it's like a light bulb. It's like the awakening of his own understanding that, you know what? No, I mean, how does the material wealth matter if I don't buy peace or if I don't get peace? It doesn't, because it has to be balanced. Your material wealth, your material world has to be balanced with your spiritual peace in mind, with your harmony and balance, and that's where you enjoy life totally. And for him, this is the epiphany right now. And the last card we have is again card number 10, 37 or 10, is a never ending story. And see, this is where he's coming to the realization that he needs to do something about this, or else this kind of a situation will be a never ending story for him. Really, where he will not be able to move, where the time is going by and he's stuck in the same place, and he knows that. Then he now has to do something very, very quickly for himself first, or else he will be stuck in this particular part of his story, which will again be a never ending story where he will never find peace, he will never find balance, he will never find harmony, he will never get that peace that he is looking for, the freedom that he is asking for, the independence that he is waiting for. Or else, like, this is the wisdom that he now has to do something very, very quickly, or this time period. Once it goes by, he will not be able to move. Again, he'll get stuck. Now, this is clarified by card number 51 or 6. He gets 15, 6, 51, 6, healer of the ages. So he knows that he will have to quickly not only heal himself, be the magician, bring back his tools, manifest this change, or else he will get stuck. He will have to do something very quickly to manifest this change in his own life, or it's gone. To bring back balance and harmony, he will have to work very, very quickly in his life, in his environment, in the physical world, where he will be able to manifest his own peace, buy back his own story, buy back his own independence, and get his freedom quickly from all the clutter, from all the other part of the story that he had been forced into, or like I said, he had thought that to be the truth of his life at one point. Okay, so this complete epiphany is occurring at this point in time, guys, because he's suddenly woken up to the fact, is what I'm getting, that he has to be very, very alert, very determined, very quick, and very logical and rational in the approach to manifest his own peace in his own life. Or else others who had been playing dirty with him, or he had been vice versa doing the same thing, that energy will never change. He wants to change that energy and bring back his own harmony and balance in his own life to manifest the change in his life now. It's epiphany that's going on at this point. Okay. Now I have four Akashic cards in here. Okay, and we'll go through this energy here. The first card out is the Seven of Forces or the Balance card. See, this is again where he is determined. It's the King of Sword energy. Like I said, it could be him, or he could have applied for a legal consultation, could be, or he has recruited a judge, a lawyer kind of an energy, where, or he might himself be the judge right now to look upon a situation that requires a balanced understanding in his life. He wants people around him who understands him, where he understands them, and there is a balanced equilibrium in their understanding. Whether it's a legal matter he's dealing with or any other situation. Okay, but it's the wisdom of Solomon which tells him determine what to do next. Determine. It's all in your zone. Okay, so he has to, this is the energy that's catching up, the Seven of Forces, where he knows that if he delays the matter anymore, whatever he had been in, whatever status quo, things are anyways going to crumble. And it's already crumbled. So now to rebuild it, he will have to be very, very stern, very alert. Like I said, it could be a legal battle. It could be a settlement of assets. It could be anything that requires a documentation and paperwork to be completed in his life right now. Okay, which is very, very legal, I would say, very legal kind of an energy in here that he knows he will have to manifest and take action on. This card is clarified, guys, with the cycle in here, which is a cycle that is ending for him, where he is going to settle things, move out of that after the settlement, whatever that settlement is for him, okay, and close that cycle of his life to go forward into the next phase, clarified by solitude. This is the hermit energy, kind of an energy, guys, where this is what he is working on right now. Okay, very singular energy, but it's like the hermit energy. This close cycle will help him to reorganize himself, which is where he's coming to the point of understanding that he will have to quickly do things in order to move forward. And this is the hermit energy. This is what he is analyzing, he is working upon, how he can close things, how he can balance out things in his life with his money, with his resources, with, like I said, with his, if he is married, with his marriage for some people, where there could be a division of assets too for some people as well, is also what I'm getting. Where he wants to quickly kind of get rid of those stories to move forward. So he has to kind of take care of the part of that story that is still not fully settled in its own shape and form. Okay, so this is where the energy is catching up with him, where, like I said, it's epiphany of his own understanding, guys, that he cannot waste any more time, period. Time is an essential factor in this journey for him now. Okay, the next card out is card number 21, which is the World card, which is calling about the completion. A new life. Start of a new life. Okay, setting a new force, putting up a new purpose in life. Blasting away the old and creating that new life every moment of his journey in here. Because this, like I said, this is the epiphany that is catching up with this man in here. And this World card or completion is clarified by conclusion. Look, where he has to conclude things right now, he has to end things, cycles, he has to conclude that old cycle to bring in the new energy, to bring in that new burst of life for himself. He has to finish the leftover that he has pending in his life in the right way now. This is what he is balancing out in here. Okay? Very, very quickly. Very quickly. It's epiphany. Like I said, guys, it's epiphany that for so long he had been playing it very safe. I would say for some people, I'm even getting that. Where he had been playing it very safe, not really taking action on this energy, not really thinking about this deep until the time came or has come or is coming where he's feeling that urge of that push. It's also the epiphany, the tower moment, anything that you can say, which is creating that total harmony, or the urge of bringing back the harmony again for himself first. The next card is card number 20, which is like the judgment energy in the Akashic deck, which is calling for the will, wisdom, and mind. So he knows to complete that completion, he has to be very, very careful with his sense and understanding, with his power, with his heart, and with his mind, where he knows the divine resides. Okay? Where now his energy will grow, his heart will overflow with love, and his mind will be as boundless as the sky, which is an expansion of his own limitations that he had, being limitless in his understanding that, I can go as far as I want to. Nobody can stop me. Really, once I settle the score here, once I'm over with the settlement and I close the chapter, the completion happens. I am able to move in any direction of my life that I want to now go forward with. This is this is a very deep understanding with himself about this judgment card of rebirth, call it awakening, call it epiphany, call it a light bulb moment, where he has realized this is the mirroring. He is mirroring the effect of his will, wisdom, and mind. He's putting his will, like I explained, his mind and his heart, the power of his boundless, limitless expansion that he wants to now create, clarified with compromise, right? Where he knows that he will have to compromise with you in regards to the last part of the story. He will have to compromise with his community, with his people that he thought was his people. There has to be a lot of compromise in this story. This is the judgment card, that this is telling him that if he has to move forward, which he's doing because he's putting a lot of effort into this, he also knows that for this thing to happen in the right way, he will also have to compromise with a lot of things in his life that he earlier had never envisioned, or he probably thought he doesn't need to do it, So, because like I explained, guys, that he was, not that he didn't, okay, how do I put this? What I'm getting out of these energies in here, ladies and gentlemen, is he had always fathomed that he needs a change, okay? He wanted the change, he wanted to go forward, but like I said, he was not willing to cross the limit of his boundaries. Yeah, that's the way. He was not willing to cross the limit of his boundaries before because, like I said, it was his comfort zone, and he didn't feel that need or that urge to rock the boat. So he was kind of flowing, he was kind of sailing with the energies. He was kind of going with the same flow every day until the point is coming this year that energy is completely changing, where that urgency and that need to recreate his own life in the right way is coming back into the surface. The last card out we have is the King of Roses, which is an energy of the King of Roses, or it's more so very closely associated in the tarot deck, I would say, is with the King of Pentacles. Okay, where he is the king of family, home, and community. When there is a sense of care that is swelling up within him. When his question is, what would he like to bring to the world around him now? Okay, so it's very closely associated with the King of Pentacle energy, very nurturing kind of an energy, very domesticated, family oriented, loves family, loves home, loves community, right? But the question they're asking him is, with this change that he is manifesting or will manifest, is what is the next step that he would like to bring around him now? Where is he going? What he is wanting to do? What he is thinking of doing now? What is the next step forward? Where is this going into? Right? So these are the questions that is setting in within him, because by nature he is a beautiful person. Okay, he has got a beautiful heart, he's got a beautiful mind. That's where the things had been kind of messed up before, which is the energy that is coming back, which is clarified by the fresh start. Look, so this is where he is starting completely fresh, with his own love, with his own community, with the home he now wants with you, Divine Feminine, with the world that he now wants to bring forward to you, to take care of you, to take care of himself, to begin the whole journey totally fresh, to recreate another era in his life from now on. So, this entire story that he now knows, guys, where he will have to completely clear his own mess to restart this journey with you. He will have to, because again, like I said before as well, guys, this time he has realized one thing very, very right. Okay, that like last time, where he came to you probably without clearing his own self, he messed up the entire thing. So this time, if he does the same situation, if the same situation is repeated again, it will not work. It will not work at all for him. So he has to be very practical in his logic, rational, in his understanding, that before he comes and knocks on your door, he will have to be very, very clear with his own situation. And that's when he can start the entire thing fresh. The bottom of the Akashic deck, guys, is 8 of Swords. Okay, you got the 7 of Swords and you got the 8 of Swords. And this is like the lightning bolt, or the bolt from the blue, where there has been some destruction that is there within his surrounding, that has already happened. Okay, so now what they are telling him, what are you going to stir up next from this destruction? And how do you want to direct this energy in your life now? Where do you want to go? Okay, these questions are all coming up in his life because, like I said, this destruction has already happened. It's there in his life from where he has to now move. So the question now that is coming up in here, it's as though the universe is pointing a finger at him and is asking him, what are you going to employ now? What are you going to do now? How do you want to direct this energy in your life? Where do you want to go now from this destruction that has already happened in your life? So choice is his, right? Option, like I always say, free will, option, choice is every human being's birthright. So this is, again, the choice is his. What does he want, really, to direct his energy towards now? Where does he want to go? The next card is he's got wishes fulfilled. Okay, wishes fulfilled and the Queen of Scrolls. And then you have commitment. Look, you can make this up. This is where he wants to go with you. He wants that commitment, that is his wish fulfillment, because you, as the Queen of Scrolls, divine feminine, you are intelligent, you are wise, your decision is very rational, okay, and he knows that. He knows that. He sees you as a very wise person, a person of complete rational understanding, and that is where he wants to go because he knows, you know, that he will also have to recreate from this destruction a new pathway towards you as well, divine feminine. Because, like I said, he had been sitting in that energy where he could not move or he refused to move because, like I said, he was comfortable, he was knowing that energy, he was more adaptable to that energy, and at the same time, he was scared of moving out of that energy and doing something with you because he did not know. His trust issue was not guiding him in the right direction for him to know if he can really trust you with everything that he has to do next for his life. Whether you're going to support him, whether he can support you. There has been many kind of back and forth energy within him for a long period in time, which is where this new thing that has to be recreated from this destruction is coming up on the surface. The bottom of the deck for the Wisdom Oracle, guys, 43 or 7, deep knowing. He knows this. And it's a very deep internal knowing of his own truth now, which is not numbing anymore, which is not, kind of pushing away anymore. Because he knows this is the truth. He has to face the reality call. He knows this. This is his reality call. The bottom of the energy oracle is a door to romance. See? 33 or 6. This is where that 6 is manifesting. Harmony, balance, love, everything that is coming up on the surface for this man in here. The bottom of the Mystic Moon Oracle deck is a deception. Okay, this is again the deceit energy, which is going to clear away because you got the 5th dimension here and the shadow work in here. Okay, the shadow work, 5th dimension, and deception is clearing away that energy as he is moving forward into the next part of his life. Now, one thing I want to show you guys, there is a couple of hidden messages right here too, okay, which is from the other side of the deck. Communication, purge, and divine masculine. He wants to talk with you now. He will be. That is where the things are coming up in here. Okay, I just wanted to show you that so that you know, because when I was shuffling the cards, I came through with this message which was hiding on the other side of the deck, and it just kind of caught my eyes, and I said, wow, that's what it is. And with this deep knowing, guys, he's understanding the part of his story that whatever he had earlier done, okay, and see the bottom of the other side of the deck is the tribe. You are the real community. You are the people he wants to follow you, right? So he wants to be a part of this tribe now. That earlier, going by the book, see, he's following this tribe. He's following the path to you, divine feminine. Because all the people he had earlier on is being left behind. Let me tell you that. Is being left behind because he has realized his own folly. And it's been an awakening, guys. It's been an awakening. I want to check the bottom of this energy oracle. See? Happy family, broken heart, and all tied up. This is where he was sitting. Like I told you, this is where he was sitting with everything in his head because he was very unhappy with all the grief and the pain that completely blocked his rational and logical understanding, to take action on situations that he wanted, or he knew that, like I said, he was so much in pain that he was not able to understand how he could get to the bottom of this entire story. Okay, and from here in the Akashic, guys, you have Atsum, loving elements, and in crescent moon. See, he's trying to bring everything, initiation of the Count of Saint Germain. He's bringing in a temperance in himself, guys, where he is initiating this transformation of his life. He's working very hard, being the dark night of the soul, to rebuild that energy in his own life and bring back that peace and harmony towards his own self. So all these messages are tumbling out. It's because of this time of the year, guys, where he has realized his own situation and the folly that he had created before with you. That now really needs, and see again, like I said, what I'm getting out of these cards in here is telling me that earlier he hadn't paid attention to many things in life. He really hadn't. He had, kind of pushed it under the rug, which is all surfacing, and he knows that he cannot push things under the rug anymore. And, it's more for himself now. It's his survival instinct that is catching up with this man in here now. It's a survival instinct of his own self. Okay. Let's look at the cycles and solitude here. And this is the hermit energy. He's working towards closing the deals in his life, whatever he needs to close. Like I said, it could be assets, money, relationships, anything that he needs to bring out into the open and close cycles. It's like, okay, you take this, you take that, leave me alone, right? I need to go on my own road. I have to be on my own path. So this is where the energy is catching up with him, which is justice. Yeah, look. Which is justice, the balance of his karma, of his old commitment towards people, towards whatever he had in his life, his community, where he will have to now be very fair and balanced in his dealing to close the cycles of his life. That, like I said, whatever he has to give has to be very fair. He has to be in his integrity at this point in time to make his judgment call and decisions on his resources, on his money, on his relationship or marriage that he now needs to walk away from and settle the deal to move from that area of his life. Let's look at conclusion here. Wow, 10 of Cups. Yeah, a huge major conclusion from his personal chapter in life, guys. From his personal chapter. A completion of the old, and some of them could also be going for a legal battle here, or just a legal settlement. Could be a mutual legal settlement for some people also. Anything is possible. Or it could be with his kids if he has any. Okay, where he's concluding the earlier part of his story and he's reorganizing himself into beginning a new chapter in his life, Let's look at the mirror and compromise. And this is exactly what his mirroring effect is in his heart, mind, and body, to compromise on any situation that earlier he had been numbing or he had not been paying attention to. And once he can do that, that's when he will come to you. And that's when a compromise between you and him will also be reached. It's also what I'm getting, guys, okay? So this is the time frame that he's probably not going to be telling you anything, or maybe giving you just a hint, if at all. But this is the story here. Let's look at the mirroring and compromise, because he knows that until he can settle, he cannot compromise with you, as well as also what I'm getting. Because for both of you guys to compromise and walk forward, he will have to finish his part of the story. Or else again, like I said, he will come haphazard, and then he will again mess up the entire situation with you. And this time he is very careful. He knows he cannot do that. He cannot do that. Got a couple of cards, guys. Four of Pentacles, Hierophant, and the Fool card. Yeah, see? There you go. Getting freedom from the past commitment he had to begin his journey, and trusting, and you have the Two of Cups at the bottom, I just noticed. Yeah, and trusting that he can begin the next adventure with you from that place where he was stuck with his money, with his thought, with his emotions, bringing back his own commitment, unlocking his own wisdom to understand that that's not the place he can sit in anymore. And it's time to take action, to take that leap of faith and trust in his dreams, that he can actually make things work with you, Divine Feminine, with the Two of Cups in here is the energy here. Okay, and that is the Judgment card. That is when the compromise of the old will happen and the beginning of the new will start. Let's look at the fresh start here, because he wants to begin everything very fresh with you, Divine Feminine. He has learned his lesson the last time around, and he knows that if he does, like it said, if he does anything again, it's going to have a very, very bad impact, and this will never go forward. This journey will never go forward. With the fresh start, he has the Queen of Cups. Look, that's you, Divine Feminine. And this is the King of Roses. He wants to start a complete new commitment with you in his life, as the King of Roses, where he wants to take care of you, and he knows you will take care of him with regards to the unconditional love that both of you have for one another. Okay, and the Queen of Cups is the energy of you, and you're very psychic in your ability as well to understand what he is now going to offer you. And he knows that he cannot fool around with you, because psychic ability in your life, in yourself, Divine Feminine, is very, very high. So he knows that he has to be very, very straightforward, very nurturing, very loving, very caring with regards to you, or else he's not going to get anything. So this is where everything is working out, from that stuck energy to compromise with that situation and to start a new commitment with you, trusting that you will believe him in what he has to offer you now. It's also what I'm getting, guys. Let's look at Justice, because see, for him, the trust issue somewhere had created a lot of mess. Because somewhere his trust issue was not completely in place. That also was a part of the story which kind of disbalanced his life for a long time. With the Judgment card, he gets the Page of Wand. It's an expansion of his energy, guys. A new freedom, kind of an energy, becoming a risk taker, knowing that he has to move, feeling happy about that expansion, feeling excited about expanding his own story, his own life into something that he knows has been always there, but like I said, he hadn't paid attention, because he was so caught up in the old picture that he just did not allow himself to visualize his future, which is where the new visualization effect is in the forefront for him now. He's excited, he's feeling very excited with this, with this kind of an energy that's bringing in a lot of sense of new adventure, sense of liberation, of freedom, of his own happiness, of his own inner contentment, where he is able to do things the way he wants to now do things. That will be once done after this part of the story gets over. Let's look at the Ten of Cups, because he wants to really see with him the energy that's coming up is, if he could move today, he would. But he's just getting still caught up with some of the entanglements that he still has, the messy entanglement that he still has to settle. But he's excited because, with him, this energy is floating within him that he can foresee that expansion. He can foresee that expansion in his life that's happening or will happen once he can get over this messy area. Let's look at the Ten of Cups and close this last chapter of his life to move forward. And he's quite thrilled and he's ready. Another thing is he's ready to take that risk now. He's getting ready to take that risk. The Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, see the closure. The Ten of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles. The domestic part of his story, guys, that created a lot of unhappiness. Or for him, it also could be that he's foreseeing the future with you in the Ten of Pentacles area. And that is what he's very excited about too. It could be anything. But that is, like I said, there has to be a completion on his part of the story before he can really, but he's excited to think about this expansion too, is also what I'm getting, because he's coming to the place of understanding that he wants that legacy with you, he wants that happiness with you, he wants that hope with you, he wants that peace, that contentment with you as you two guys settle down in a place of happiness. Okay, and he's willing to put everything at stake for this area now. Four of Pentacles, commitment, and the Fool card. And that is, I said commitment, the Hierophant, okay? And the Fool card in here. And before, like I said, this compromise will happen for him to allow him to move forward. The Two of Cups, yeah, see? The Page of Wand, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups. He wants that handshake. He wants that hug from you. He wants to bring everything, and he's trusting himself to believe that he can do this. He can do this. He's putting his full will, wisdom, and power into the story, guys, to bring forward that energy in your life and into his life as well. Let's look at the Queen of Cups, because unconditional love, guys, you cannot just say anything more. King of Wands, see? Action. There is the Action King right here. The entrepreneur, as I call him. The man who knows how to take action on situations from the scratch. This energy is of burning passion, of being an entrepreneur, of being the go-getter, lot of flame, lot of fire. It's a Sagittarius energy for me, you know. But this energy is that energy that is showing up with to start everything from the scratch with you once again, guys. Where he'll be able to communicate his vision to you as well, you know, when he wants to talk to you about this story to let you know how he wants to work with you now going forward. Taking on the role of the leadership or taking on the leadership role in here. And see behind the King of Wands, he's got the lion, which is a lot of that male energy with him, you know. A lot of that male energy with him, which brings about being heart-centered as well, which brings about a lot of compassion in him, which brings about the fact of his strength, where he can tame his own demons in order to move forward and talk to you, communicate his vision with you in regards to his own higher consciousness in here, or his own understanding. Let's look at the Page of Wands. And he's feeling quite thrilled about this situation, guys. He is very thrilled because he's like, it's like, you know, like I said, it's epiphany. It's epiphany for him. See, from the Page of Wands to the King of Wands, this is where his energy is moving from one to the other very, very quickly. It will move throughout this period in time when he'll be able to come forward and let you know what he really wants to let you know. With the Page of Wands, he gets Two of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. He's wanting to merge this situation with you. He's wanting to merge the situation with you of the Four of Wands, of this commitment where he wants to join hands with you, Divine Feminine, in order to make this peaceful place of happiness, of his home, of his security, of his money, and of his love, really. He wants to merge whatever you have, whatever he has. Put, like you put your cents in the top from your pocket and he puts his cents from his pocket and the story becomes equal, right? And the story becomes equal. It's that energy here, guys, where he wants to merge everything you have and he has in order to create this new place of home and belongingness. Let's look at the Ten of Pentacles. Look. And he's very excited because something has really hit him very hard, guys. His own understanding has suddenly been like epiphany for him. With the Ten of Pentacles, he gets the Eight of Wands. This is going to be a very quick energy rush all of a sudden. Queen of Swords at the bottom. Yeah, lot of action and communication on this closure part of the story, guys. This is coming. Okay, and it's going to be very, 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 very quick. Where a lot of things have happened before and he is wanting to move out of that situation and come forward to you to talk and to take action on whatever he now wants to do with you. Regarding this mixing and blending of you and him together. From whatever in the past did not work and what he is now looking forward for things to happen. Let's look at the Two of Cups. This is a beautiful energy that's catching up with him, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the Empress, look. Fertility. The Seven of Pentacles at the bottom. This is where he is completely focused on, guys. You know, how he gives birth to the story once again. What he can bring on your table, what you can bring onto his table. The abundance, the fertility. Maybe some of you guys would want to have kids. Taking this forward. You know, bringing back that love. It's the Venus energy here. Lot of love, lot of happiness, lot of contentment, lot of goodies, lot of wish fulfillment, lot of abundance, lot of fertility. Lot of fertility, guys, in this story. He knows that now. Which is where he knows that he's trusting that he will be able to compromise with that old situation, and you will be able to compromise with him, with the old situation, and move towards this fertility part of the story. Wow. Let's look at the King of Wands. Yeah. And he's going to take action as the King of Wands. This is where his energy is completely focused, guys. Completely focused, because right now he knows he has wasted a lot of time on other issues that completely has distorted his own self totally. The Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands. Look, this is where the entire story is, guys, where a new life force is coming into action as a fresh start, is where he is planning his next stage in life, what he wants to do with you, where the money, how the money needs to be settled, how much of love, care, and attention, because you are, for him, you're the only person. You show up as the Queen of Cups and you show up as the Queen of Wands in here, guys, who is not, he's completely enthralled by your magnetism. That's where his magnetism is coming into force, because you are so magnetic. It's the law of attraction. It's the law of attraction between the two of you that is, this is also card number 10 in the other tarot, the Seven of Pentacles, which is an end and a start to a new harvest with you. New harvest with you. And that is exactly what he is moving forward to. With the Seven of Wands, he's removing all the obstacles and obstructions that had been sitting in his life before. That was the obstruction and obstacle he's removing. Remember, we started off with the Seven of Forces. Let's look at the Two of Pentacles and the Four of Wands, because this merger is very important for him now. Very, very important for him, guys. The Knight of Wands. Yeah, see? Adventure. Adventure, guys. He is into this Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands. It's total thrill, adventure from the Three of Swords, from all the pain, the guilt, the sorrow, everything that had been holding him back before, guys. He's letting all that go. The Knight of Wands is a very quick energy of being very passionate, driven, focused towards something new in their life. Something that's going to bring back a complete sense of vitality. Let's look at the Eight of Wands. He's very excited to move forward, guys. The Page of Swords, this delay is still sitting, right? He's still a little bit in the wait line with the Nine of Cups here, with the wish fulfillment. He's kind of looking at the whole prospect very logically and trying to understand he's trying to understand his own logical part of the story, with his words and communications of how he speaks to you about this situation now. It's more so what I'm getting out of the Page of Sword energy. You know, he's being very thorough. He's becoming becoming more professional towards his understanding of his own epiphany as to what he can now do with regards to the story he now wants to create with you, Divine Feminine. Another thing is, guys, this Knight of Wands and the Page of Sword, he's stopping that rushing movement. You know, though he wants to rush, like I said, if you give him the option, he would just come to you any moment. But he is kind of like, no, that will not work. I have to be a little bit more in self-control and balance before I move forward and know what I'm going to talk to her about or tell her about. Let's look at the Empress energy here. Because he is, like I said, he can move anytime, but if he moves, he knows that if he's not completely ready, 100% ready, he will again goof it up. So he's a little bit scared about that too, right? So that's why he is halting that movement a little bit with his own logic and rational in order to gather back his own wisdom in the right way with this conclusion of what he now needs to tell you, how he now needs to interact with you, what is the communication that he now needs to deliver. With the Empress energy, he gets the Moon in the reverse. Look, all this illusion, see, this is the Page of Sword and the Moon in the reverse. He's also clearing his own self-doubt. He's also clearing his own understanding or the misunderstanding. With the Judgment card in the Epiphany, guys, it's a rebirth he's giving to himself, clearing his own fear and illusions and distortions and feeling dread, being under some kind of fear more so, This is where that logic and rational is working for him. That's why he's pausing, he's delaying this as he's clearing his own mind in order to come forward and talk in the right way. Let's look at the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, because like I said, this time he doesn't want to do anything wrong. So he's taking a little bit of a time. You might be getting a little upset, Divine Feminine, but don't get upset because this is the story in here, guys. This is the story here, okay? And with this too, the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, he gets the Five of Cups and the Star. He's waiting, guys. It's like he's putting an end to that grief that he had to see the light at the end of the tunnel, okay? To completely rejuvenate his life back into the power of force from this devil energy, from this restriction of his own understanding, the toxicity, the negativity, the codependency, everything that he had, which created for you and him that Five of Cups energy, which is his own understanding of his own restriction, that he is also healing at this point in time to see the light at the end of the tunnel, that he can do this. He doesn't need this. He doesn't need this. And it's also for some, the devil energy is also turning into a very ambitious energy of the devil, playing with his ambition, bringing back his ambition in the forefront to see the light at the end of the tunnel. The other side of the deck, guys, is a Six of Cups, the Nine of Cups, and the Five of Wands. See, this is where a major fight had been before. With the Six of Cups and the Nine of Cups and the Five of Wands, there are many people in his life who were not letting him move forward. Let me put it like that. Who had made him scared, who had given him a negative feedback, who were pulling him out of his own path, of his own journey. They were not allowing him, let me put it like that, They were not allowing him to move forward into the next part of his life, because this is where the restriction energy comes in. This is where that restriction was for this man in here, because he was pulled by too many people in too many directions of his life. Too many people by too many directions in his life, guys. And this is where the restriction energy had been sitting in his life, which is what is clearing out from his chapter, or will be clearing out from his life, guys. Okay, I will wind up this reading with one angel oracle deck for you and for the divine masculine here, as a part of the angel's advice to both you divine feminine and to the divine masculine as well. Yeah, so see the epiphany. He knows that there have been too many people in his circle, in his community, in his home, in his environment, who had been stopping his progress towards the area of his life that he really wanted to go before as well. And he got caught into that story. From which is where the fight is now for him to come out of that story. Alright, so what they are telling him, guys, is right here, Ascended Masters, clear yourself. So there is a lot of help from spiritual teachers who is watching over him, helping him to clear his path, release any toxicity or toxic energy that had been sitting or that he might have absorbed before. Okay, the bottom of the deck is mediumship, says you have the natural ability to connect with the departed loved ones. So he's probably getting his wisdom from his ancestors, from people who had been there in his life before, with whom he had a connection and who is probably no longer. They are the people, they are the medium. The spiritual guidance is coming from that medium. You know, they're telling him to move forward into a different life right now. Past life issues is at the bottom. This situation has a basis in one of your previous lifetimes. That's what they are telling him. Ask your angels to help you remember, to release, to learn and heal from your past experiences. This is the guidance he is getting from his own people, parents, grandparents, ancestors, whoever he had been in loving contact with before. And they are no longer there, but they are still around him to guide him and help him understand what he now needs to do with his own life in order to move forward. Enjoy this reading, guys, and until I see you once again, till then, take care of yourself, stay safe, goodbye, God bless, Khuda Hafiz, and Namaste.